Greetings, everyone. Is Motawase Martin, and today we're going to make just a little teaching, little exhortation, because today is February 14th, and there is many people who are celebrating this celebration that they call Saint Valentine. So today I'm just going to make a little video explaining to you what exactly is behind that, and is it something that we should be celebrating? So first, um, before I go in depth, I would just like to thank Loba for everything, for the manifestation of His grace, and to have sent Lassan at this time to take us out of darkness. So, without any further ado, I will link in the description um, the link, a little link of National Geographic where they say exactly where that celebration comes from, and I'll read a little bit about that article. Okay, it says the earliest possible origin story of Valentine's Day is the pagan holiday Lupercalia, occurring for centuries in the middle of February. The holiday celebrates fertility. Men would strip naked and sacrifice a goat and dog. Young boys would then take strip to hide from the sacrificed animal and use it to wipe young women to promote fertility. So here you're told in this article that where that comes from. It comes from a pagan holiday, Lupercalia, where in the middle of February, these men, these people, these nations were celebrating that pagan holiday, which is not a holiday because holiday means something that is holy, something that is pure. But as you can see, when they would sacrifice goat, is something that is impure, is sacrifices, and we know that the word doesn't approve of human sacrifice or animal sacrifice of any kind or any sort. And that's where the celebration comes from. It was basically like a Sabbath, where they will sacrifice goats, makes very, very, very unholy things in that day, and celebrate that that celebration that in the middle of February. I read a little bit further. It says Lupercalia was popular and one of the few pagan holidays still celebrated 150 years after Christianity was legalized by the Roman Empire. So, when Christianity came along, they also took that celebration and then incorporated it into their belief. And that's why you see a lot of Christians even today, they will say, oh, happy Valentine's Day. They'll say, oh, they'll bring gifts, they will celebrate that, but they don't know exactly which spirit is behind the true origin of that holiday, of that celebration, of that pagan day. And the Christianity was legalized by the Roman Empire, so they had a lot of festival. They had a lot of days that they were celebrating. They had a lot of gods. So a lot of their celebration, they took it and brought it into Christianity, and Christianity then moved with those days, with those celebrations as well. So, and then later on, you're told here in the article, when Pope Gelasius came to power in the late 5th century, he put an end to Lupercalia. Soon after, the Catholic Church declared February 14th to be a feast to celebrate the martyr Saint Valentine. Now, so a pope came along and said, okay, let's put an end to this practice. And then another pope said, okay, we put an end to this practice of sacrificing, but we're going to dedicate that day to who they will call later on Saint Valentine's. Now, why take a day if that person, the Valentine, wasn't impure? But we know that the Catholic Church, they also they're in the wrong. Basically, they're not in the truth. They have a lot of lies, a lot of false doctrine that they're preaching. In their false doctrine, in their understanding, they're saying, well, Saint Valentine is somebody that's pure for them. And then they're associating him with the day of a pagan holiday previously celebrated in February 14. So you see, they're still linking to occults. They're still linking back to occult forces, back to occult spirits, back to occult practices that the nation had. And the Catholic Church itself it's also a false doctrine, because they're not in the truth. They are worshiping a false god, which is Jesus, that never existed, that somebody that was made up. And so also, as you know, we've made a lot of teaching already on the true history of the true Christ, and the black people, their true history as well. So now it's just more about Valentine's Day. Now we're gonna read into the current day Bible to give you some verse why you should not participate in the practices that a lot of Christian and other people are doing, because they're saying, well, okay, well, whatever, it's no big deal. It doesn't matter. We can just say, well, happy Valentine's Day. It's nothing. It's not. No, we have to be firm in our belief. We have to be strict, because if you just say, okay, it's nothing, let's just say it, then you're perpetuating this false belief, and you're continuing, and you're agreeing to participate in this false narrative, and in this paganism linked to traditions of men that are not in the truth. Those celebrations were not established by the word of Loba, meaning the word of the Creator. It was established by man and their occult practices, by evil spirits and by demons. Though that's who is really behind those type of holiday, those type of celebration, and those type of pagan day celebrations. Now, I will read in Colossians 2:8. We know that there's only one true Bible, authentic Bible, with the true, without any errors or contradiction, which is Bibèl, les éditions sous la sang. But we were going to read in the current day Bible that even in the current day Bible, they disapprove the practice of celebrations of those type of days and those type of ceremonies. So in Colossians 2 verse 8, it says, see it to it that no one take you captive by philosophy and empty deceit, according to human tradition, according to the elemental spirit of the word, and not according to Christ. And we have also, so here in that verse it say, let no man convince you by philosophy, by talking to you, by saying, okay, trying to convince you, no, it's no big deal. No, don't let yourself be deceived. This is a pagan holiday, it's a pagan celebration, it's a pagan day. It's not a holiday. It's something that is occult, it's something that evil spirits are behind. And it's man-made. It's man-made with the influence of demons behind evil spirits. Now in Deuteronomy 12 verse 29, it says, verse 29 to 32, when the Lord your God cuts off before you the nation whom you go in to disposes, and you disposes them and dwell in their land, take care that you be not ensnared to follow them after they have been destroyed before you, and that you do not inquire about their gods, saying, how did these nations serve their gods? And that I also may do the same. You shall not worship the Lord your God in that way, for every abominable thing that the Lord hates they have done for their gods, for They even burned their sons and their daughters in the fire to their gods. Everything that I command you, you shall be careful to do. You shall not add to it or take from it. So you shall not add anything to their celebration, to their practices, to their evil doings, and you shall not take anything from it. So no part in it. So Jeremiah 10 verse 1, it says, hear the word that the Lord, and then I'm going to use the Lord because that's what the current day Bible uses, but the truth is that it's the word of Loba, who is the creator. So Loba is the creator, and then the word of Loba, so the word of the creator. So the verb. Hear the word of the Lord speak to you, O house of Israel. So Israel, once again, is not the current Israel that we see here in Palestine. It was in Central Africa, so it's black people. This is the house of Israel, is the descendant of black people, meaning the one they call Jacob, which his true name is in the Bible currently. Bible, the authentic Bible. That's his descendant. So he was a black man, and his descendant, so his house, his descendant, said the Lord, meaning the word of God of Loba, said this. Thus said the Lord, learn not the way of the nation, nor be dismayed by the sign of the heaven, because the nation are dismayed at them. For the custom of the people are vanity. A tree from the forest is cut down and worked with an axe by the hands of a craftsman. They decorated with silver and gold. They fastened it with hammer and nailed it so that it cannot move. Their idols are like scarecrow in a cucumber field, and they cannot speak. They have to be carried, for they cannot walk. Do not be afraid of them, for they cannot do evil, neither is it in them to do good. So here Jeremiah, which was also a black prophet, spoke and said, he received the teaching from the entities, from the word of Loba, and to tell the nation, to tell the house, so black people, to tell those people who follow the truth, who want to live in sanctity, who want to live in holiness, who want to live in the truth and walk the path of sanctification. He said, don't worship their gods, don't do evil, don't worship their idols, and because there's nothing in them. Basically, is false practices, false doctrines. In Ephesians 5 verse 11, it says, take no part in the unfruitful works of darkness, but instead expose them. So we have to expose the unfruitful work of darkness. We have to expose them. We are not to take part of them. Then, so here we're going to go into in Proverbs 14:12, which says, there is a way that seems right to a man, but its end is the way to death. So here Proverbs tells us that some path may seem okay to a man, because maybe he grew up in it. He say, it seems that there's nothing wrong in it, but the end to that path is the way to death. So that's what those practices are, those celebrations are, because behind it's a spirit, it's a demon, it's an occult practice, it's lies, it's sacrifices. That's what is behind those sort of celebration of Saint Valentine. They will call him saint, when in fact he was not saint, because he did not even know the truth. He was part of the Catholic Church, and we know that these people are worshippers of false gods and false idols, and they have idols everywhere in their churches. They have in their books, there is full of lies, contradictions, errors, like we've shown here in in a lot of videos. So in Jeremiah 10 verse 1, it says this: "Hear the word that the Lord speak to you, O house of Israel. Thus said the Lord, learn not the way of the nation, nor be dismayed by the sign of the heaven, because the nation are dismayed by them." Comma. So here again, learn not the ways of the nations, of these pagan nations, those people who have a lot of gods, who celebrate this and that. They don't even know where it comes from. When you talk to them, where does that celebration comes from? Why are you celebrating this day? What is the origin? It's people that have a lack of knowledge. They don't know where it comes from. They just in the moment. They're in their time, in their period. They're just following the crowd, following what everybody is following, and they're not asking questions. They don't want the knowledge. They don't want to ask the tough question. They're content. They're happy by the way everything is. And they don't like to think for themselves and think to find out exactly what is the truth. It's people, and it's those type of people that we should not follow, and we should not follow that path. We need to question where those practices come from, know the origin of these practices, and if it's not based on truth and sanctification and the word of the Creator Loba, we shall take no part in it. That's the message for today. That's what the word and the manifestation of the word in this time has revealed to us, to expose these false practices, expose them into the light, that no, they are evil practices. So that was the message, and yeah, you can know only true authentic Bible, and I will link in the description the channel of Zulu Lassan as well, and where you can get this Bible, the authentic true Bible. So this day, February 14, if people say, well, happy St. Valentine, you say, no, it's a pagan celebration. I don't take part in it. You know the origin of that celebration? No. Then where are you taking part of it? Do you want to know where that comes from? It comes from a pagan celebration where they used to sacrifice goats and dog and make a lot of occult things. And you want me to take part of it? And then they're going to say, oh, well, no, this guy, this person, yeah, maybe not. Maybe they won't say that anymore. We have to expose them into the light.